Anugrahaya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam anurūpātma-darśanam Sā upavrajya-varadam prapannāriti haram harim anugrahaya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam Sā upavrajya-varadam prapannāriti haram harim anugrahaya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam Sā upavrajya-varadam
prapannāti haram harim anugrahāya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam
Sā upavrajya-varadam
prapannāti haram harim anugrahāya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam Sā upavrajya-varadam prapannāti haram harim anugrahāya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam Sā upavrajya-varadam prapannāti haram harim anugrahāya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam
Synonyms: Saha, Lord Brahma. Upavrajya, approaching. Varadam, the bestower of all boons. Prapanna, of those taking shelter at his lotus feet. Arati, distress. Haram, who dispels. Harim, Lord Sri Hari. Anugrahaya, for showing mercy. Bhaktānām, to his devotees. Anurūpa, in suitable forms. Atma-darśanam, who manifests himself. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. He approached the personality of Godhead, who bestows all boons and who dispels the agony of his devotees, and of those who take shelter of his lotus feet. He manifests his innumerable transcendental forms for the satisfaction of his devotees. Translation with repetition. He approached the personality of Godhead, who bestows all boons and who dispels the agony of his devotees, and of those who take shelter of his lotus feet. He manifests his innumerable transcendental forms for the satisfaction of his devotees. But here the words bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam, means that the personality of Godhead manifests his multi-forms according to the desires of the devotees. For example, Hanumānjī, Vajrāṅgajī, wanted to see the form of the Lord as a personality of Godhead Rāmacandra, whereas other Vaiṣṇavas want to see the form of Rādhā-Kṛṣṇa, and still other devotees want to see the Lord in the form of Lakṣmī-Nārāyaṇa. The Māyāvādī philosopher thinks that although all these forms are assumed by the Lord just as the devotees desire to see him, actually he is impersonal. From Brahma-saṁhitā, however, we can understand that this is not so. For the Lord has multi-forms. It is said in the Brahma-saṁhitā, advaitam achyūtam. The Lord does not appear before the devotees because of the devotees' imagination. Brahma-saṁhitā further explains that the Lord has innumerable forms. Rāmādi-mūrtiṣu kalā-niyamena. He exists in millions and millions of forms. There are 34 lakh species of living entities, but the incarnation of the Supreme Lord are innumerable. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that as the waves in the sea cannot be counted, but appear and disappear continually, the incarnations in the forms of the Lord are innumerable. A devotee is attached to the particular form, and it is that form which he worships. We have just described the first appearance of the boar within this universe. There are innumerable universes, and somewhere or other the boar form is now existing. All the forms of the Lord are eternal. It is a devotee's inclination to worship a particular form, and he engages in devotional service to that form. In the verse in the Ramayana, Hanuman, the great devotee of the Rama, said, I know that there are no difference between Sītā-Rāma and Lakṣmī-Nārāyaṇa forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But nevertheless, the forms of Rama and Sītā has absorbed my affection and love. Therefore, I want to see the Lord in the forms of Rama and Sītā. Similarly, the Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇavas loves the forms of Rādhā and Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa and Rukmiṇī at Dwaraka. The words bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam means that the Lord is always pleased to favor the devotees in the particular form in which the devotee wants to worship and render service unto him. In this verse, it is stated that Brahma approached Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This form of the Lord is Kṣīrodakaśāyī Viṣṇu. Whenever there is some trouble and Brahma has to approach the Lord, he can approach Kṣīrodakaśāyī Viṣṇu. And it is the grace of the Lord that whenever Brahma approaches about disturbances in the universe, the Lord gives him relief in so many ways. Thus ends the Bhakti-vedanta. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णवैष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। Beautiful verse, very wonderful purport given by Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada leaves no room where he should defute for the argument of Māyāvādīs. Sa upabraj varadam. Upabraj means braj means going. Upabraj means approached, humbly approached. Sa means Brahma. Sa upabraj varadam. To whom? Varadam. Varda Nrsimha. Varda. Varda means who can give? Varda, benediction, boons. So the Lord, he can give any boons. So the Brahma, why he approached? As we connect from the previous verses, the Brahma created somehow his own son, and they wanted to have sex with Brahma. Initially he laughed, but when they approached, he became very afraid. Then he started running. And then he was running, then he approached the Lord. Which form? Kṣīrodakaśāyī Viṣṇu. Prabhupada has given the purport. Sa upabraj varadam. Then prapanna ariti haram. The Lord is another name, is called ariti haram. Ariti means the problem, disturbances. This whole world is filled with a lot of problems. Always there will be problem. Padam padam yata vipam. Whatever we make the situation, there could be, or there always is a problem. That's the nature of this material. That's the reason Krishna declares dukhaliyam ashashtatam. Nothing to worry. The problem will be there. We are in the place of dukhaliyam. So it is said, prapanna ariti haram harim. But who can free us or free from all the trouble? Harim. That's one of the region. The Hari means who takes away all our agonies. Prabhupada is writing about all our problems in life. Then anugrahaya bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam. Anugrahaya bhaktānām. The Lord is very merciful towards devotees. Okay, Lord is merciful to everyone with respect to devotee, non-devotee, but especially is merciful. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name bhakta dvashyati. Krishna do not have any of these things, but he still is a special corner for his devotee, because they always engage in service of the Lord, always align his desire with the desire of the Lord. So anugrahaya bhaktānām, and special mercy what he does, anurūpātma-darśanam. So devotee, they wish to worship the Lord in a particular form. That's the desire that devotee they have. So the Lord mercifully present that particular form to that particular devotee. So atma-darshanam, Lord manifests. Atma-darshanam. Anugrahaya bhaktānām. So So as he said, since beginning, like Brahma, when he was appeared on the lotus flower, he had a lot of problems. The whole lotus was, with the biggest storm, it was moving here and there. He was afraid he might fall into the Gauḍīya Ocean. So then, and also it is said one place, Madhu and Ketava also appeared one of the particular millennium, and they took away the Vedic literature from Brahma. So Brahma had the knowledge, even he becomes the knowledge less. So a lot of so even since beginning, Brahma had to go through the problem. Then who we are? So all of us, we had to go through the problem. That's all. But there's a difference between devotees are going through the problems and the non-devotees. When devotees they go through the problem, they become mind become absorbed in Krishna. They become completely full surrender to Krishna. Krishna, I'm yours, now you do whatever you wish. But the non-devotees, they try to solve the problem with not having faith in the Lord, our material skills. Our power, money, our resources, they depend on that, not on the Lord. So it is said there, in the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma was attacked by two demons, Madhu and Ketava. But Krishna saved him. Therefore, Krishna's address is Madhu Ketava Han. Now again, Hiranyakashipu was trying to replace Brahma. Hiranyakashipu desired to replace Brahma, which is not possible. But he had at least desire. The demons have a desire. The material world is so situated that even the position of Brahma, not to speak of ordinary living entities, is sometimes in danger. Nonetheless, until the time of Hiranyakashipu, no one had tried to replace Lord Brahma until. Hiranyakashipu, however, was such a great demon that he maintained this ambition. Elsewhere, this is the purpose of seventh countries, Hiranyakashipu. Who is saying this? Devatas are saying to Brahma, when they become afraid of Hiranyakashipu, then they runs to Brahma, then says, please try to control us. So for example, although Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus seat and had grown from the abdomen of Kṣīrodakaśāyī Viṣṇu, he could not understand what to do after his appearance. As you know, when he appeared, he did not know what to do. What region I have come. So, and also he was attacked by two demons, Madhu and Ketava, who took away the Vedic literature. So same thing, we want to know. So what Brahma did this happen? When any problem comes, he start doing meditation on the Lord and great austerities performed. So when we are in a deep problem, we must fix our mind in the lotus feet of Krishna and devotional austerities we have to perform. Yeah. So who took away Vedic literature? But the Lord killed them and entrusted to Lord Brahma the Vedic knowledge. So when we do so, the Lord will help us. Thus the Lord appeared in every millennium and in societies of demigods, human being, animals, saints, aquatics. So Lord appears, one of the purposes, Lord appears in every species of life and much more. Others saying there are only 84 lakhs species, but the Lord in how many forms? Millions and millions of forms. But not like Māyāvādī. Māyāvādī, they say, Lord has no form. When devotees think of certain form, Lord takes that form. It's a very wrong argument. According to Brahma-saṁhitā, advaitam, rāmādi-mūrtiṣu, kalā-niyamena. So Lord has innumerable form, an eternal form. And the devotees also not worship or think of the Lord in an imaginary form. There are set of forms are given in the Shastra. He worshipped the Lord in one particular form. Like it is said in the Hanumānjī, he worshipped him. Ramacandra. He is more comfortable to worship Ramacandra compared to any other form. All such incarnations are meant to protect the devotees and kill the demon. But this killing and protecting does not reflect any sense of partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. Now, this we all know. Killing of the Lord for demons also their benefit. They get purified. So even when the devotee goes through the problem, is their purification. Tatya anukampa samachma. We never say, why Lord is giving you so much problem and trying to solve it. So even though we are going through the problem, is always our benefit. Attracted by the external energy, therefore he is subjected to lust and greed, and he suffers under the conditions of material energy. The Lord's causeless mercy towards his devotee is the only means by which to get out of material existence. It is always said, with our own power, our own energy, we can never come out from this material existence, only by the anurūpātma-darśanam, by his causeless mercy. That's the reason for the causeless. Anyone engaged in glorifying the Lord's activity is always unafraid of this material world. Nārāyaṇa parāsarvi na kutushin vivyati swarga apavarga narkeshu apitulyat. So devotee is never afraid of any situation. More so, he gets opportunity to more pure or more purified service to the Lord. Whereas one who cannot glorify the Lord in that way is subjected to all kinds of lamentation. So those who all has to go through the problems. Whatever manipulation they do, they have to go through the sufferings, lamentation. And when the devotees go through the problems, devotee takes shelter of the Lord, and non-devotee have faith in honorability. So when the devotees are in great danger, he calls out his Lord with complete devotion and dependence. And there's a beautiful purport I'm not going to go through. There's a beautiful purport 17937. The people, Prabhupada very beautifully describe how devotees completely dependent on the Lord. And bhaktānām anurūpātma-darśanam. Like, and there's a one famous, no? This is a loka katha kind of loka verse or proverbs, no? जाकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत देखी तिनते से. जाकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत देखी तिनते से. So devotees have certain particular form to worship as described in the Purport. The Lord Hanuman always wished to worship Lord Rama compared to any other thing. So even it is said in the Ramayana, when the Lord Ramacandra, he went for the Swayamvara for Mother Sītā. So mother of Sītā, she said one thing. So there are different people could see the Lord Ramacandra in the different mood. Sītā saw as a beloved, the conjugal lover. There are other devotees, they had a different view. They have Janak Maharaj says, my dear son-in-law. And so different devotee, they had a different vision. Like Prabhupada writes in the Kṛṣṇa book, when Kṛṣṇa entered the wrestling arena of Kamsa. So when he entered, so there are different varieties of devotees were sitting. Some Jnanis, they saw the, what they saw? Brahman. They are not able to see Krishna, only Brahman is coming. Some yogis were sitting, they saw Paramatma. Nanda Maharaj Yashodamaiya is saying, my dear child, Krishna Balram. The gopis, they say, my beloved is coming. Cowherd boys, they say, my friend is coming. So they had a different, depending on their bhava, depending on their attraction. They had all on even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Murari Gupta. So the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is glorifying the position of Murari Gupta. All of us know. So I will read some few of the verses, beautiful verses. It's from Madhya Leelas 15.137 onwards. Murari Guptere Prabhu Kari Alingana Tar Bhakti Nishtha Kahen Sun Bhakta Gana. So the Lord becomes very happy. There's a 15th chapter. He's describing he's glorifying all the devotees. One by one, everyone coming and meeting the Lord before going to the Mayapur, Navdeep. They are all leaving to the Jagannath, they had come. So he is embracing and glorifying each devotee in this chapter. So here he is embraced the Murari Gupta and is glorifying. Now, Murari Guptere Prabhu Kari Alingana Tar Bhakti Nishtha Kahe Sun Bhakta Gana. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Murari Gupta and began to speak about his firm faith in devotional service. This was heard by all the devotees. Purve Ami Yahare Lobhaila Bar Bar. Lobhaya means attracted. Bar Bar means again and again. Who is saying? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, I attracted the mind of Murari Gupta Bar Bar. Param Madhurya Gupta Brajendra Kumar. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, previously I induced Murari Gupta again and again to be allured by Lord Kṛṣṇa. I said him, my dear Gupta, Lord Kṛṣṇa, Brajendra Kumar is a supreme sweetness. So somehow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried him to get attracted by Kṛṣṇa. See, so Chaitanya was saying, I tried bar again and again. Swayam Bhagavan Kṛṣṇa Sarvamsi Sarvashraya Visuddha Nirmal Prema Sarva Rashamaya. Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, origin of all incarnation, the source of everything. She is a pure transcendental love itself. She is a reservoir of all pleasure. Sakal Sadguna Brand Ratna Ratnakar Vedagd Chatur Dirgha Rashik Sekhara. She is glorifying the Kṛṣṇa and saying you get attracted by the Kṛṣṇa beauty. So Kṛṣṇa is a reservoir of all transcendental quality. He is like a mine of gems. He is expert at everything, very intelligent and sober. He is the summit of all transcendental human. Madhur Charitra Kṛṣṇed Madhur Vilas Chatur Vedagg Kare Yaha Leelavash. His character is very sweet and his pastimes are melodious. He is expert in intelligence, thus he enjoys all the pastimes and manners. So see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying to the Murari Gupta so that he become allured to the Kṛṣṇas. Say Kṛṣṇa, Bhaj Tumi. He is saying to Murari Gupta, say Kṛṣṇa, who is a Brajendra Nandana, he is a Madhurya, embodiment of Madhurya. Say Kṛṣṇa, Bhaj Tumi. Aho Kṛṣṇa Shreya. Kṛṣṇa Bina An Upasana Mane Nahi Laya. So I then requested Murari Gupta, worship Krishna, take shelter of him, but for his service, nothing appeased his mind. So he is trying to serve, but somehow he is not getting pleased with serving Krishna. Then compared to Rama. Ei mat bar bar suniya vachana, amar gorve kichu firi gela mana. हमने बार बार बोला, again again the Lord is saying, कहीं ना कहीं उसके मन में प्रभाव आया. So in this way he heard from me again and again. By my influence his mind was a little converted. हमारे कहें आमी तुम्हार किंकरा, आ मेरे कहें, he told to the Lord, आमी तुम्हार किंकरा, I am your servant, तुम्हार आज्ञा करी आमी नाही स्वतंत्र. To follow your order is my life and soul. I am not swatantra. So Murari Gupta then replied, I am your eternal servant, your order carrier. I have no independent existence. Et bali ghare gela chinti ratri kale, Raghunath tyag chintaye haila bikale. So, Et bali ghare gela. By this he said, I am your servant, whatever you say is my order. So by saying, he went to the home, Chinti Ratri Kala, and the whole night he was thinking, Raghunath Tyag Chintaya. So after this, Murari Gupta went home and spent the whole night thinking how he would have to give up association of Raghunath, Lord Ramacandra. Thus he was overwhelmed. Behwale. Kemane Chadiva Raghunather Charana, Aji Ratri Prabhu More Karaha Marana. So you see, Kemane Chadiva Raghunather Charana. How can I leave the lotus feet of Raghunath? Aji Ratri Prabhu More Karaha Marana. Let me die better than leaving the lotus feet of Ramacandra. Murari Gupta then began to pray at the lotus feet of Lord Ramacandra. He prayed that death would come that night because it was not possible for him to give up the service of the lotus feet of Raghunath. Et mata sarva ratri kare kandana. He was just crying the whole night. Mane soyasti nahi. Ratri Khile Jagrana. Full night he was awake because the order was to leave Raghunatha's lotus feet and come to the lotus feet of Krishna. So thus Murari Gupta cried the entire night. There was no rest for his mind. Therefore he could not sleep a moment but stayed awake the entire night. Pratha Kale Asi More Dharila Charana. So Pratha Kale Asi came to the Chaitanya Prabhu. Pratha Kale More Dharili Charana Kandite Kichu Kare Nivedana. By crying, Kandite. So in the morning, Murari Gupta came to see me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying to all the devotees, catching hold of my feet and crying, he submitted an appeal. Raghunather paye muni bechiyalo matha. Raghunather paye muni bechiyalon matha. I am sold, I was purchased, I sold to my matha, my head to the Raghunatha. Kadhite na pari matha mane pai vyatha. Murari Gupta said, I have sold my head unto the lotus feet of Raghunath. I cannot withdraw my head, for that would give me too much pain. Sri Raghunath Charan Chhadana na yaya Tab agya bhang hai ki kore upaya. So it is not possible for me to give up the service to Raghunatha's lotus feet because I gave myself to the Raghunatha. I purchased, I sold myself. So at the same time, if I do not do so, I shall break your order. What can I do now? Tell me. I want to break your order. At the same time, because I sold, I have service to the Raghunatha's lotus feet. Same way when we give ourselves to the Guru, spiritual master, seeing he was feeling, how can I leave service? So it is not possible for me to give the service of Raghunatha's lotus feet. At the same time, if I do not do so, I shall break your order. What can I do? Tate more e kripa kar dayamay. Tate more e kripa kar dayamay. Tumar aage mrityu hok yauka samay. So in this way, Murari Gupta appealed to me, saying, "You are all merciful, so kindly grant me this mercy, let me die before you, so that all my doubt will be finished." So how can I do? I cannot leave the lotus feet service to the Raghunatha, because I sold to ourselves. Also, I do not want to disobey your order. So let me die. So that should be solution. Ed suni ami bad mane sukhi pai. So by hearing this, Chaitanya was very happy. Ed suni ami bad mane sukhi pailu yahare uthna bahi tabe alinkan koyu. So hearing this, I become very happy. I then raised Murari Gupta and embraced him. Sadhu sadhu गुप्त तुम्हार सुदृढ़ भजना अमार वचने तुम्हार ना ठाइला मना. So saying glorify, sadhu sadhu means glorify. तुम्हार सुदृढ़ भजना, आपका इतना सुदृढ़ भजन है राम जी के प्रति. अमार वचने तुम्हार ना ठाइला मना. Even the Lord is saying he is not able to change. So I said to him, all glories to you, Murari. Your method of worship is very firmly fixed. So much so that even upon my request, your mind did not turn. So, e mat seva kare priti chahi prabhu paaye. So this should be the attitude of the servant. Once he is sold off, one serving, even master say, no, stage will continue. E mat seva kare priti chahi prabhu paaye, prabhu chhadaile pad chhadana na yaaye. So the servitor must have love and affection for the lotus feet of the Lord, exactly like this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying all that word. Even if the Lord wants separation, a devotee cannot abandon the shelter of his lotus feet. So, suppose arise in small purpose. The word Prabhu or Master indicates that the Lord is to be continuously served by his devotee. Original Prabhu is the Lord, Sri Kṛṣṇa. Nonetheless, there are many devotees attached to the Lord Rāmacandra, and Murari Gupta is a vivid example of such unallied devotion. He never agreed to give up Lord Rāmacandra worship, not even upon Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's request. Such is the chastity of a devotional service. So once we are sold to the Guru, so that's called chastity. Loyalty to the Guru will take us back to Krishna. As stated in the Anta Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Se Bhakta Dhan, who is a Se Bhakta Dhan, ए ना छाड़े प्रभुर चरण, से भक्त धन ए ना छाड़े प्रभुर चरण, से प्रभु धन ए ना छाड़े निज जन. So is a great devotee who does not leave the lotus with the Lord, and the Prabhu, the Lord is such, is a dhanya, glorified, who does not leave his devotees. दुर्देवे सेवक यदि याया अन्य स्थाने, से ठाकुर धन तारे चुले धारी आने. So in a firm relationship with the Lord, the devotee does not give up the Lord's service under any circumstances. As far as Lord himself is concerned, the devotee chooses to leave, the Lord brings him back, dragging him by his hair. So somehow if the devotee leaves, so the devotee catch the hair over the right. We had a sikha, he will catch the sikha and bring it back to his service. ए मत तुम्हार निष्ठा जानी बात तारे, तुम्हारे आग्रह आमी कैला बारे बारे. So just to rest your firm faith in your Lord, I request you again and again to change your worship from Lord Ramacandra to Kṛṣṇa. साक्षात हनुमान तुम्ही, श्री राम किंकरा, तुम्ही केने छाड़े वे तार चरण कमला. So in this way I congratulate Murari Gupta, saying, indeed you are the incarnation of Hanuman. Consequently you are the eternal servant of Lord Ramacandra. Why should you give up the worship of Lord Ramacandra, the lotus feet? So, E Murari Gupta, E Mora Pran Sama. So you see, my Pran Sama, my life is Murari Gupta. Yahar Denne Suni Mora Padai Jivana. It was glorifying Murari Gupta, his firm faith and the conviction on the Lord. Similarly, there was one the Rupa and Sanatan Goswami's brother called Anupam. Initial name was Vallabh, and after the initiation from the Lord, he became Anupam. So when Sanatan Goswami goes back from Vrindavan to meet the Lord in Jagannath Puri, then Sanatan Goswami glorifying his brother Anupam. And and Murari Gupta one in the beginning it is said that Murari Gupta Mukhi Suni Ram Gun Grama Latale Likhila Tar Ram Das Nama. So एक बार जब चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने राम जी का गुणगान सुना मुरारी गुप्ता के लिए, तो उन्होंने यहाँ पे पेंट कर दिया, क्या कर दिया, रामदास उनके माथे में बंद कर दिया. Now Sanatan Goswami glorifying his younger brother, Se Anupam Bhai is my brother, Shishu Kale Hete Raghunath Upasana Kare Dhrunchiti. So Shishu Kale means when you are very little in childhood. So from the very beginning of childhood, my younger brother Anupam, Saint Chaitanya Prabhu, was a great devotee of Raghunath, Lord Ramacandra. He worshipped him with great determination. Ratri Dine Raghunather Naam Ar Dhyana. Rat Din he was chanting the Lord of Rama. Rāmayaṇa Nirvadi Sune Kare Kana. He always chanted the holy name of Raghunath, meditating upon him. He continuously heard about activities of Lord from the Ramayana and chanted about them. Ami Ararup Tar Jest Sahodara Ama Duha Sange Tiha Rahe Nirantara. So he was always with the Rupa and Sanatana. Rupa and I are his elder brother. He stayed with us continuously. अमा सवा संगे कृष्ण कथा भागवता सुने तहार परीक्षणा कैलु आमी दुई जना। सही हम दोनों ने रूप सनातन ने उसकी परीक्षा ली, क्योंकि वो हमेशा हमारे साथ रहता था। कृष्ण कथा एंड सुनय बल्लभ कृष्ण परम माधुर सौंदर्य माधुर प्रेम विलास प्रचुर। So dear Vallabha, be sad. Please hear from us. Lord Krishna, supremely attractive. His beauty, sweetness, and pastimes of the Lord are without limit. Krishna bhajan kar tumi ama duhar sange. He's saying, please worship Krishna. Krishna bhajan kar tumi amar dui sange. Beyond three, let us worship Krishna. तीन भाई एकोत्र रहीमु कृष्ण कथा रंग। So engage yourself and devotional service to Krishna with the two of us. When three brothers shall stay together, enjoy discussing pastimes of Lord Krishna. यही मत बार बार कहीं दुई जना आमा दुहार गौरवे किचु फिरी गेला। बार बार बोलने से उनका थोड़ा सा मन कृष्ण की तरफ अट्रैक्ट हुआ। देन तुमा दुहार आज्ञा तुम्ही के माने लाभी हूँ। आप हमारे बड़े भाई हैं, हम आपको आज्ञा दे रहे हैं हमको करने को, तो हम आपका आज्ञा का उल्लंघन कैसे कर सकते? दीक्षा मंत्र दे कृष्ण भजन करें। Vallabha replied, my dear brother, how can I disobey your order? Initiate me into the Krishna mantra so that I may perform devotional service to Lord Krishna. एतकहि रात्रि काले करेन चिंतना की माने छाड़ीमु रघुनाथेर चरण। बोला कि हमको आप कृष्ण मन से दीक्षा करके चले गए। और आफ्टर सेइंग दिस एट नाइट ही बिगन टू थिंक, how shall I give up the lotus feet of Rāma? सवा रात्रि क्रंदन करी केला जागरणा प्रातः काले अमा दुहाय कैला निवेदना। पूरी रात जागते रोते रहे, सुबह आके रिक्वेस्ट किया रघुनाथेर पद पद में बेचियानु माथा काढ़ीते न पारो माथा प्राण बड़ा व्याधा। I have sold my head to the lotus feet of Lord Rama. I cannot take it away. That would be too painful to me. कृपा करी मोरे आज्ञा दे दुई जना जन्मे जन्मे सेवे रघुनाथेर चरण। So the two of you, please be merciful unto me. Order me in such a way that life after life I may serve the lotus feet of Rāma. रघुनाथेर पद पदमा क्षणान नायाया छाड़ी बार मना हैला प्राण पाटी गाया। It is impossible for me to give up the lotus feet of Lord Rama. When I even think of giving up, my heart breaks. तबे आमी दुही तारे आलिंगन करिला साधु दृढ़ भक्ति तुम्हार कही परम शुनु। Upon hearing this, we each embraced him, encouraged him to sing, you are a great saintly devotee, for your determination and devotional service fixed. In this way, we praised him. So like this further said, he glorified. So my dear Lord, the family upon which you bestow even a little mercy is always fortunate. Such mercy makes misery disappear. गोसाई कहें यही मत मुरारी गुप्ता, जिससे मुरारी गुप्ता के भी साथ ऐसे हुआ था। So the Lord is, each devotee is attached to particular form, and in that particular form he wishes to worship and worship the Lord. Like we have seen in the Gopkumar case also. Even though he went to the Vaikuntha, even though he went to the Ayodhya, even he went to the Dwarka, Dwarka, the same Krishna, but in the form of Aishwarya. He was not content, he had to capture himself. Till he reaches to the Goloka. So Prabhupada says that we as a Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava, we all are attached to the form of, we must be attached to the form of Krishna. Like in the case of Rasa that was happening, Krishna disappeared, gopis start searching, where is Krishna? So Krishna took the form of four-headed Saṅkha Chakra Gada. When gopis came, they saw in the Lord the particular form, they paid obeisance. So thank you. So do you know my kana? Where is my kana? So they paid obeisance, they are looking for that particular form. But when Radharani came, Lord was in same form. But the love of Radharani so much so that Krishna could not conceal his real form. So Krishna was forced to come to the two-handed form. And so the Lord is particular form, and that form the devotee wanted. Even the Gopal Bhatta Goswami is a Saligram. And Saligram turned into the Radha with his love and affection to serve the Lord. Or even, I will just take 2 more minutes. In the purport of 65, Man Manaman Bhakto Madhyachi Mam Namaskaru Mam Evisati Satyam Te Pritijani Priyos. This is the purport of these beautiful rites. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of the Lord and always think of Him and act for Him. So what is the most confidential part of knowledge? Always think of Krishna and act for Him and become a pure devotee. So that's the most confident. One should not become an official meditator. So in chanting Hare Krishna, we should chant with love and affection, not just a formality. Life should be so molded that one will always have a chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. So we have to mold our lives as well. We cannot forget Krishna even though we wish. And like Lord, Gopi's case, when Krishna become headache and they're trying to forget Krishna. So that story we heard many times. So Lord's promise is that anyone who is such pure Krishna conscious will certainly return home back to Godhead, where he will be engaged in association of Krishna face to face. We are able to think of Krishna always. Then Krishna is promising he can serve Krishna directly after leaving his body. This most confidence a part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is a dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend of Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. Now this is a beautiful last few lines. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna. The very form with 2 hands carrying the flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and the peacock feather in his hair. So we should concentrate the mind on 2-handed form of Krishna carrying the flute, bluish boy with beautiful face and peacock feather on this. So there are descriptions of Krishna found in Brahma-saṁhitā and other literature. One should fix his mind on original form of Krishna, God. So 2-handed form of Krishna is the original form. All other forms has come from that particular form. One should fix his mind on the original form of Godhead Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to the other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Viṣṇu, Nārāyaṇa, Rāma, Vara, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. So as a Gauḍīya Vaiṣṇava, this particular this form is recommended. You should not even divert our mind to any other form. Concentration of mind on the form of Kṛṣṇa constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So we have to mold our life, we have to do our sadhana so much that throughout the day we should be able to carry the forms of Krishna Balaram. Throughout the day we should be given a chance, we should chant Hare Krishna. We should never forget Krishna even a moment. And when we think of Krishna always, then actually Duskaram Sukaram Hari, like told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kathanchin Ismarit Ayasamin Duskaram Sukaram Hari. We think of the Lord always, then impossible task become very easy to perform. And on the other hand, we forget Krishna, the easy task will become difficult to perform. So remembering Krishna is the most important part of knowledge. So we can remember Krishna always his beautiful form as a deity form, and we should have that strong attachment to the deity of Krishna Balaram. Also, we should have attachment to the holy name. By chanting holy name, it help us to remind Krishna. So I will stop there. Printana Srimad Bhagavatam Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Vidai Go Prem Nandi.